Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. This is it. We can go back in time and rate all the video games. All these games were released in the beginning of November 1982. We were last on the Atari home computer playing Galaxian. Let's see what our next release is. Coming up next, it's Gangster Alley on the Atari VCS. Only for the Atari VCS. That means it's not coming to your favorite home console. Unless this would be your favorite home console. It's the Atari, or Atari 2600. There it is, Gangster Alley for the Atari video game system. This is by Spectravision. The fourth game that we've seen by Spectravision, and all of them have been on the Atari home console. So this is... like all the other Spectravision cartridges, the front of the box, though, is that a man that is dead on the front of the box? Well done, Spectravision. I'll give it to you. Let's flip it over in the back. It's meeting all the people, and they even have a screenshot for us with the Atari. They have two joysticks there. I don't even know if this is two. Oh, it is. It's one or two players, but I don't think you can play at the same time. I think we have to alternate play, but we'll see once we get into it. And it even has, look in the bottom right, additional versions for young children. There, nice. All right, so we have the artwork. This is the reconstructed box, or the cleaned up box. This is a physical scan. This had a little bit of shininess to it whenever you played it back then when we got it brand new. Looks great, though. This marks the 167th game that we played for the Atari 2600. Lots of games out there. Here's the ad you would have seen in magazines: Lefty, Scarface, Muggsy, Shifty, Nitro Ed. All of them. And there it is, the weird-looking Spectravision cartridge down there in the bottom right. Yeah, there it is. That's the Spectravision cartridge. All the third-party publishers want to make the coolest cartridge. Spectravision, not so much. It feels very plasticky and fake. This is an example of a screenshot. And let's see the manual for Gangster Alley. One or two players again. All right, so meet Lefty, Scarface, Muggsy, Shifty, and the most sinister of them all, Nitro Ed. They're going to challenge you on your own turf. We're going to Gangster Alley. The scan of the manual looks a little bit messed up there. Tell us how to play. There's the gang. Shifty, Scarface, Muggsy, Lefty, Nitro Ed, and Chicago Joe is the one we got. For years, the sinister criminals have evaded capture from the SBI, the Spectravision Bureau of Investigation. The 5 most wanted gangsters challenged the agency for a showdown at Gangster Alley. So we're going to be taking out some gangsters. I'm into it. Let's do it. As a loyal agent, we volunteer. We got a rifle, 4 bulletproof vests. Wait, 4 bulletproof vests? Okay. So we have to make sure they're holding 5 women and children hostage. Don't shoot them by mistake or you'll get penalized. There's the demo mode. And once again, it's another one of those screenshots that's not really a screenshot. They are taking something or fabricating something to make it look like the game. We've seen this in magazines too. Oh yeah, definitely would have been in color. Oh yeah. Yeah, and we've even seen there's a few other home consoles, the more obscure ones, the manuals are coming in black and white. I'm not for sure about those because some of them just may have been scanned in black and white. But yeah, these were all in color, definitely. All right, so here's how you get started. Once again, it tells us turn the console off, put the cartridge in, turn the console on. Got it. And we have a demo mode if we want to, game reset. Yeah, demo modes like most Atari games. There's how we get point values or cash. Nice. We get penalized, though, $1,000 for women and children. Don't shoot them. So it's showing here an example of what we can see. Nitro Ned's at the top. Hostage is on the left side. So the gangsters are the one we want to be shooting, but avoiding the pedestrians, of course. Move the joystick, aim the gun sight directly over a target. A direct hit will cause a flashing explosion. Very nice. Nitro Ned's on the roof waiting for a drop of grenade. Shoot him anytime. Make sure you hit him before he gets ready to throw a grenade. If you fail, the whole thing ends. So he's the worst of all. Now, did it explain where's the explanation of the 1-player or 2-player mode? It says left. Okay, we have the difficulty switch for beginners or veterans, but I believe that's it. And then if we do a 1 or 2-player game, you don't get to play at the same time. No simultaneous play here. Yeah, there we go. It explains how reloading works. Night battle, if you fight and go far enough, it goes in the dark. Nice. There's what the women and children look like. Bonus vest. Very interesting. And when we get into what the game is, this is what it's actually an interesting video game, because right now this is we would see this as a normal a shooting gallery video game, but not really right now. The game ends whenever you lose all your bulletproof vests or Nitro Ned drops a grenade. And there's the ranks you can get. There's the game variations, 1 or 2 player, or the children's games. So we do have 4 different game variations. Only 4. Yikes. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, the second player could be the bad guys. Would be awesome. So this one's available as Gangster in PAL regions, as well as Spectra Video in 1983 that brought it out. And in Germany, it's Stoppt die Gangster, or Mafia. Let's play the first one. This is Gangster Alley by Spectravision in the beginning of November 1982. So the attract mode, like usual, shows us what we're looking, kind of like the game is an arcade-style game. I can see the women and children, and I can see the bad guys they even have a gun symbol that's going around. And if I hit select, is that how I get my game options? Oh, nothing's popping up. Oh, it doesn't have it when I hit the game select switch. I bet it's just the difficulty switch, right? Yeah, it's only the difficulty switch. All right, let's hit reset and go. I'm controlling the cursor at the top of the screen, and I do fire a shot off. I don't think so, guys. Not today. When you fire your shot, you're meant to take out as many enemies as possible. If one of the cronies gets to the top, they take a shot like that, and you lose some points. And if you look at the top of the screen, the score value, if I hit someone like a pedestrian, watch everything. Oh, no, I missed it. If you hit a woman, your score goes down by 1,000 points. So definitely don't hit any women or children. And we made it through the first round. No cutesy cutscene. We just get a small ditty. Was that 3 notes before we go to the next stage? So, very, very interesting concept for a video game. He blew us up. Oh my goodness. Way, way before the dog from Duck Hunt taunts us. That's just deliberating. All right, let's go ahead and reset. That's the way I feel too, Alex. When I'm playing this, this is essentially a... It's almost like the crosshair you'd see from Missile Command, some other command shooters that we played, but it's acting as a shooting gallery style game. And I really feel like I should have a light gun for this rather than using the Atari. I shot the kid straight in the face. Using the Atari VCS joystick and moving the cursor around the screen, it actually was okay whenever we played it for Missile Command, but here, having to be fine-tuned and exactly where you need to get that cursor to face to knock out the bad guys, this makes me feel like I really should be playing with a light gun. But there is no light gun on the Atari VCS. There was a light gun for the original Magnavox Odyssey. And I'm talking the rifle. It was amazing. And it does have it giving vibes of Kaboom, the felon at the top. I'd say Kaboom is more fun than this. No, you don't. You just got to hold them off. No, not there. Oh, I almost lost that one. But the multicolored characters is very nice for the Atari. Gameplay's very simple, though. All you gotta do is keep them down while you can. But it is interesting that there really isn't anything like this. Oh, he hasn't blown us up. We made it to the night battle. Hopefully you keep the lights on so I'll be able to tell you're bad guys. Maybe you gotta be fast. Yeah, the Atari VCS joystick is actually working okay. It's working all right. Part of me feels like I'm a little stilted, like I want to be able to move faster or get to these faster. There's only one speed to move the cursor around. he does kind of look like Pugsley from Addams Family. Are we out of bullets? Uh-oh, yeah, we're out. Yeah, that was our last vest. Oh, we have one more vest. Oh, that's our last vest. After they shot that one. So it's not really a command shooter. Missile Command, that's out there, Stratos, Sentinel, Laser Defense. Those are kind of like uh, video games that are kind of like a command shooter, but not really like a command shooter. This one is a first-person shooting gallery game that's not using a light gun. And we've seen this with video games in the arcades from the 70s, like M79 Ambush, Blue Shark, Clay Shoot, or Dog Patch, which is kind of a stretch. Dog Patch is the one that you were shooting a can and trying to keep a can up between two people. And Bugs, that was by Data Age. Here on the home console space, there's really no other game that's doing this. The first-person shooting gallery where you are shooting hostages. Imagine that. There is nothing else on the home console that you can play. And even from everything we played across all home computers, this is... it wouldn't have held your interest. I'm with you, Mark. There's really nothing else that you can compare this to except for something like Missile Command. So very, very interesting. We did see a game called Dog Patch for the Valley Astrocade. That one was kind of like this, but it still was just trying to keep a can up. You weren't really shooting targets. The other games we've seen that are like shooting gallery games are more like something from Carnival. And they taunt us again. I think we'll leave it right there. So there's not too much you can compare this to, but it is a very good game considering SpectraVision of all the games we've seen up to this point. Bugs is another game that is kind of close to this. It had bugs slowly popping up, and you had to shoot them down. But as far as everything you can play across all home consoles, it's really unique. It's a great concept, and this is something that's going to catch on. Wanting to do a first-person, a static screen, and you're shooting them, but we need the light gun. That's really going to make it. Looking over the chat, I see 3 stars. I actually see 2.5 from Paul. Mostly averages for all the games you could be playing up to this point. Charlie's going 3.5. Because of the originality, and there's not really anything else that's like this, and it actually plays okay, considering the Atari VCS joystick, I'm going to say slightly above average. 3.5 stars for all the games you could play across all home consoles right now. Gangster Alley is an alright time. Alright, after that, let's see what our next game is. It's time to put on our strategy hat. For all the action gamers, you may want to go home. This is Germany in 1985. 1985? What's November 1982? I guess it's better late than never. Here's the box for Germany 1985. The very first of SSI, Strategic Simulation Incorporated's When Superpowers Collide. Look at that box. It's got the United States and Russia. We're all going to fight and collide in 1985, apparently. This one's on the Apple II, the very first version we've seen of this game, and it's the 405th game that we've seen for the Apple II home computer. Flip it over in the back. Yes, it's when Russia invaded West Germany and the Cold War turned red hot. What in the world? Russia is not going to invade West Germany. I don't think so. Maybe it'd be really interesting if they said Russia was invading Ukraine and we played that as a video game right now in 1982. But I don't know, West Germany, that's a stretch. They're boasting the full map, or I guess part of the map over on the left side. Yeah, that's the full map, and then some screenshots with information about the game on the back of the box. Very nice. Yeah, I know, right? We need the more dystopian futures right now. So besides the box for Germany 1985, in magazines, SSI was all over the place, especially the magazines we read here on the show, computer gaming worlds and so forth, introducing our new series of war games, When Superpowers Collide. This is the very first one. 1985 was not a very good year. The Russians invaded Germany, stormed the Persian Gulf, attacked Norway, and overran the Baltic. So this is the very first game that SSI's done the Chronicles of Osgorth, which was a very fantastical game. This one is not as fantastical, but it is the first time they're doing something to the future. We're not playing something from historical events. Here's one of the maps you would have gotten in the box, the advance and contact scenario, and where Russia is going to come for the attack. This was followed by RDF 1985, Baltic 1985, Corridor to Berlin, and Norway 1985. All part of the Superpowers Collide series. And this one's the very, very first. And there you go, another one of the maps you'd see in the box. Got to get those feelies if you're playing on computers. Yeah, the Cold War is definitely heating up in here if Russia's going to invade West Germany. Here's one of the reference cards you can have inside the box of your reinforcement schedule, and you're going to need it. Got victory conditions down at the bottom. Very nice. There's the 5 1/4 floppy disk. We're going to pop into the Apple II to play. You can see that this is version 2. That's the version that we'll be playing to. All right, here's the manual. We're not going to see the whole manual, though. Here on the show, we do just quick tastes or blurbs of your first experience playing these games. The strategy games, though, are a whole new breed of video games. When we first played any simulation or strategy here on the show, they are a completely different game than everything else out there. These are games you can invest months and months of time in. This one's no exception. If you want to play a fantasy of a future that may or may not exist and how you're going to take down the Russians, this is for you. A very lengthy manual. It gives you tips about how to play the game. Yeah, we're going to be seeing this on other, I think only on the Commodore 64 in 1983 is the only other version. And it says it here in the manual. But we'll see that one later. There's the map. It's hex view style play. You're going to be using the cursor keys to play this. It's all on your keyboard only, so no joysticks. How you can move your units. There is the NATO forces and Soviet units. You move around using the 6 different directions. Numbers 1 through 6. You have to follow the movement for your units and what kind of terrain they're going to be going on, all that stuff. Oh yeah, this has everything. You have to be, it is very in-depth. I'm going to include links down below to the Wargaming Scribe, so if it's something you're interested in and want to know more about the game, check out Wargaming Scribe, because he's going through this game in its entirety, playing a full scenario and giving the best review of what it is like to play the game. He rates everything, or takes a look at the games based on modern views of strategy games. Here, right now in 1982, we're rating the game based on, right now, of all the games you could play across all home computers, what's this like? So you can see we're not even halfway through the manual. This has a lot of information. You would spend maybe an hour or two just reading the manual to familiarize yourself with it, or jump into the game and refer to the manual constantly. So it takes a long time to get used to. The learning curve for these style of games is a long time. Yes, right? Maybe it is, Manly, and that's one of the funniest comments I think we've seen in the chat. Yeah, we're still only halfway through the manual. That's how long this is. I'm not going to be able to even show it all. So you ask yourself, how are you going to play the game then if that's the case? Well, let's just find out. Pop it and play. Germany, 1985. This is by Roger Keating, published by SSI in the beginning of November 1982. Way to go, Roger. This is the 4th game we've seen Roger Keating do. He did Computer Conflict, Operation Apocalypse, and Southern Command, and this is the next one. All right, so what I'm going to do is go through. You can play a 2-player or solitaire game. Good luck finding another person that is a strategy enough nerd to play it with, but most of the time you'll play solitaire, and it's very difficult. Russia is hard to be able to defend against, or defend against Russia. And then you have a few different scenarios you can pick from, and we can also do a demonstration game where the game will play itself, and that's what I'll be doing. I'll be showing off a demonstration of what it's like to play the game. Ready, set, go. Hit it. So this one takes a lot of liberties that Southern Command did and builds upon them. The first big thing you'll notice is the map is zoomed in and it slowly scrolls. We have like a choppy scroll to move our units around. Right now, tanks are moving to different places. And already, when you look back at the games we played, in 1980, 79, 1980, this strategy game already looks really good for the Apple II. And as far as play style goes, there's a little inconsistencies with, which units can take out which other units, and the unfairness of the computer and so forth. But this game has a lot going forward. As far as strategy games go, it's very, very well done and one of SSI's greats. As far as all the games you could play across all home computers, though, once you play it long enough, you can kind of see through the cracks that there's faults, and you have to learn what Russia's going to do ahead of time, and then plan for that. So it works though in one sense, because you are playing a game that takes place in the future. So there's no way to know what Russia is going to be like in 1985, here in 1982. But in the other sense, this whole scenario is just outlandish, that Russia is going to be invading West Germany. It makes no sense. So that's why I can see some people just turning away from it like, this is ridiculous. You might as well give Napoleon a 747 jet and have them try to take things out or something like that. It's just ridiculous scenarios. This one is the 56th strategy war game that we've seen or showcased here on the show, and of all those war games that are out there, this is kind of average, somewhere around the average range, but it depends on your flavor of game. I know, right? Yeah, that's a good point. We'll see that one in 1983. I'm gonna definitely have clips of that. So that's all on the show is a quick taste of Germany 1985. There's a lot more to love if you're into strategy. Here on the show, though, this one is a well-polished game. Very, 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 very good. SSI's on the top of their game. Of all the games you could be playing across all home computers, I'm taking from my playtests and from articles and reviews that were at the time and kind of lumping them all together, and I'm going with a 4-star rating. Germany 1985 takes place in a completely different future than we would have expected, but it's still a very good game. Yeah, Manly's going 3.5 of all the games you could play. Yes, throw out those ratings for a game that would take you months to play, and we just showed, what was that, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the video game? Oh yeah, Mark says 4, 3.5. And if you are a strategy enthusiast and you remember playing this game, definitely leave a comment down below. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're still going to hang out on the Apple II. Our next release is Go, or Wei Qi, or Wei Qi, depending on your pronunciation. That's right, Go. I'm talking the old school Go. Here's the box for Go. 4,000 years of challenge. That's right. This is not new to video games. Go has been around on mainframe computers since 1968 and terminals since 1974. There's also a game called Honinbo Warrior on the Apple II that's already been released, and Middle School on the Commodore PET. I don't know why they called it Middle School, but there's other video game Go's. This is the first time that we've ever seen it because this is one of the biggest releases. Classic game of strategy by Stan Irwin. Way to go, Stan. Love it. You flip it over the back. It's the captivating challenge of the Orient. And if you're not too familiar with your history of Go, one of the moves, there's several of them, but one of the moves of Go is called Atari. And that is where Nolan Bushnell got the name for the eponymous video game company. So it's cool that we're playing Go here, and I believe he played actual Go on a board or physical Go using the tiles or pieces rather than a video game. Yeah. Oh yeah, Hayden Book Company did these really, really well. All the board game ones. You can see on the back, Sargon 2, which we've already seen. There's Reversal and then King Cribbage. I can't remember if we played King Cribbage or not up to this point. So there's the box for Go. And the 5 1/4 floppy disk that we're going to play with an example of the screenshot. Here we go. It's time to play Go by Stan Irwin, the beginning of November 1982. This is the second game we've seen Stan Irwin do after War on the Atari home computer. And this is the 406th game that we've seen on the Apple II. As far as the Hayden Book Company or Hayden Software Company, they go by each name. This is the 13th game that we've seen by them. And they don't just do book and boring or educational board game stuff. They've done some pretty good stuff too. All right, so here you go. 1 or 2 players. If we do a 2-player game, you can play with a friend alternating. But we're going to go with a 1-player game so you can see what the computer's like. They also give the option for keyboard or paddles, which is nice. But I'm going to go with keyboard this time. And then the computer color, usually the player that's black goes first, so I'm going to make the computer white. That's just the way Go works. All right, so I'm going to make the black handicap. Oh yeah, and I can give myself extra pieces. Check this out. Do 9, and look, I have 9 extra pieces all on the board, which is awesome. So that means he gets to go next, and then I'm going to make my way around. I'm using the I, J, K, and M keys on the keyboard to navigate. So I can go here. Now, this is the first time we've ever played Go here on the show. Like most board games, we're not going to be able to play the game in its entirety. It kind of inspired Reversi or Othello, but it's a completely different game. The way that this is played is you're meant to capture units with territory. So, for example, if I get all my pieces across this side, and then all my pieces across this side down here, then I would have affectionately captured everything in the top northwest if I can. And you can only put pieces down on the intersections. So you're not putting it in the middle square like you think of checkers and chess and all the other board games. Completely different way to play. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to capture all this over here. He's already trying to go go to the piece in the top right. Let's see what he does. Yeah, he's trying to go over there, but it won't matter. I'll capture him. I'll get him in there. Let's see if he takes this bait. So the AI of this computer, you don't get to switch difficulties. You just give yourself handicaps. So it's not really as intelligent. You know, you're not going to get, like chess, several different difficulties to pick from. Let's keep going. He's trying to go to the bottom left. I'll keep doing this. I should be able to take out more here. I am by no stretch of the imagination a Go professional player. I just enjoy video games and want to catalog the entire history of everything. So we are going to be playing all board games too, or video game board games. All right, almost got it. If we do this, then all those are going to change. If I can, he's going to try to do something to block me. Oh, okay, he's going to try to capture that. Yeah, and then you notice what happens? If he gets his piece in, yep, he completely removes my black one from the board. I believe that'll do it. He's trying to do it again over here, so let's see if I can help him out. But you keep laying your pieces down, try to capture as much as you can of the board, and take over. Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Are we rating the video games based on the board game or based on the iteration of this as a video game? Good point. So we haven't really played a lot of Go here on the show. It is very impressive they got this to work at all. Kind of like when chess was a feat to put as a video game. This is still very impressive. Of all the games you could play across all home computers, Go on the Apple II, you would have a good time. I'm thinking around average for the games you can see up to this point, 3 or 3.5 stars. I see a 3-star from Manly. Yeah, if this is not your cup of tea, of course, you can rate it as low as you want to. I'm trying to do a unbiased opinion across all different genres of video games, since this is everything, all platforms, all over the world. But I still say this is a very well done video game, as in video game form. I'll say 3.5 stars for Go. If you want to play Go, you'd love it. If you don't want to play Go, you still got to admit it's a great video game. All right, after that, let's see our next game. Yes, how well it's implemented. That's the way to do it. The next video game is Go, also for the Atari home computer. Hopefully we can play with the Atari VCS joystick. Here's the box for Go. It's the same one we saw just previously. This is our 389th game that we're playing on the Atari home computer. 400 or 800. Yes, looks like the same we saw before. We're still going to be captivating the challenge of the Orient. Why do they always got to do that? Like it's a new cool thing. Here's the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time. And there you go. Some of the other ones we've seen by Hayden Book Company. Final Conflict, excellent. Bellhop, awesome. Crystal Caverns, yeah, a lot of these we've already seen. Kamikaze. Is there anything we haven't seen? We've seen Crime Stuff. Yeah, I think all these we've seen. Shutter. Oh, Wargle. I don't think we've seen Wargle yet. So we'll see that soon. There's the example of a screenshot. And then we also have, yeah, this one plays on the operating system A of the Apple. Again, Stan Irwin did this. Hayden Book Company, the beginning of November 1982. We will see this in 1983 on the Commodore 64. Because by law, every video game has to be ported to the Commodore 64. All right, so just like before, I'm going to do a one-player game. Please, oh yes, joystick. Love it. And we'll do the same thing. Give the computer white. I'll be black. And then give myself a handicap of 6. You can see it added. It just adds extra pieces to the board to make it easier for you. All right, so I can move around using the joystick. Oh man, it's slow though. I feel like I'm... I move the joystick and then it responds. Since the beginning of the show playing video games where, you know, like chess and checkers, I've really enjoyed being able to use a joystick to move a cursor around and select, you know, your chess piece or your checker piece. So this is awesome that you can use a joystick. Much better user interface, but it's essentially the same game. What you see here is what you get. And you want to play some good Go, this is the way to do it. The Apple II did allow paddles, but playing on the Atari VCS joystick, I always think that one's better. So its iteration works fantastic. It's good. I have no complaints. If you want to play a good game of Go, there you go. So of all the games you could play up to this point, I still say the same. 3.5 stars for Go. Iterated and packaged and put in a nice place for you to play a board game. Yes, same rating, yeah. If you said that also in the chat. All right, it's time to put the video game playing on pause. That's all the time we have for this episode. We got so many more games to go through and some surprises to come up too. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, this is not the Pac-Man you were looking for. A disappointing game for the video pack, and can it be an original concept for the arcade? That's it for today, and like I always say, we will always find more games to play. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.